This video is really going to bring the trolls out. Hey guys, welcome back to Build Something Cool, your YouTube channel for everything metal from machinery to projects. So today I've got a really exciting video just for you. It's going to save you a lot of headache and a lot of time in the shop. Before I can get into that, I want to talk about a supporter of the channel, Osborne Abrasives. They don't only support my channel, but other YouTubers and also the Barcy Summer Bash. These are German-made abrasives and they are amazing. Today, we're going to talk about cutting the cord on Matabo. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Matabos, Matabos probably make the best grinders on the market, hands down. I just came across 3 or 4 of them used, and one of the things I like to do to my grinders is I like to cut the cords on them. We're going to talk about that. Just to be clear, I am not saying you need to go cut the cords on your Matabos. And I also will say that if you do, it's going to affect the warranty that you have with your machine or any other machine that you cut the cord on. So why do you need at least 4 grinders, if not more? Well, it's a time saver because you can have one grinder that has a cutoff wheel, another one that has grinding wheel, a flap disc, or a wire wheel. And they're a big time saver to have multiple machines, but there's a disadvantage to having multiple machines, and that is the cords get tangled up. They're always in a spaghetti mess. So what I like to do is cut them off. But with that being said, a lot of you are thinking that I'm crazy cutting these cords off, but if you think about it, every time you plug one of these grinders in, what do? You're plugging it into an extension cord, which adds for more confusion. And then you have more extension cords, or if you're like me, I only run one extension cord and plug this in, but it still becomes a mess to plug one machine in to another, back and forth. That's one thing I love about air tools is you have your air hose and you can plug it straight into the machine, undo the machine, plug another one in it, and you're going, and you're never getting tangled up. So that's why we're trying to cut these cords. We're trying to make it more like an air tool, more efficient. I want to tell you a story about a guy that I knew that was on construction, and he always had a skill saw with an extra long cord wired in, 50 or 75 feet. And whenever you had to put that saw away, you had to curl up the cord, put it in the job box. Well, the next morning, you always knew when you got to the job box that somehow these cords would get winded and twisted together and you had an extra big mess. Here was the interesting thing about this. No matter how long his cords were, he still needed an extension cord. Before we cut this cord, let's talk about what machines you can cut them on and what you shouldn't cut them on. I don't cut them on like soldering irons because these are areas where I sit down and work in a confined area. So I'm not plugging in, unplugging in, I don't need a lot of distance. So my attitude is any machine that you plug an extension cord in is one of those that you can shorten the cord on. The next question is, how short do you make it? Well, that's up to you, but the way I look at it is, I want to make sure that I am away from the distance where it could get cut by the grinding wheel that's on the machine. We're going to make a cut that is about halfway through. Go to the opposite end, cut that off. The question is, why don't you just put a plug on the end here? And you can do that. The reason I don't like to is the plugs that you can buy, they're usually a little too big in comparison. Plus when they hit the corner of something, well, they hook on and it's not good, where these will just slide over the edge. So that's one reason I don't do that. Another question will be, why don't I just cut this off and wire it in here? Another very valid way, and it's a great way to do it, except it's very time consuming because you have to take the whole thing apart and wire it in. This is the system that I've come up for me. I'm not saying it's the right system, I'm just saying it's the way that I do it. So first things up, we need to strip the wire. This is also difficult to do without damaging the insulation underneath. And what I like to do is just kind of slit it up the belly, trim it a little bit with scissors. This works great for this particular wire, but probably doesn't work well for others. And they don't have to be stripped back very far, and you'll see why in just a minute. Actually don't have to use wire strippers. One of the other techniques I use, if I just had a pair of side cutters, I just come in and I just work it and I weaken the insulation and I pull it off. To make this connection permanent, we're actually going to solder them together. First, we're going to put solder on both ends. I like to dip my solder right straight into flux. The flux just helps the solder flow. I also like to go in with as hot an iron as I can because it heats up everything really fast. Next, we're going to use some heat shrink tubing. And this tubing is kind of a protection. I know sometimes works really well, sometimes it doesn't work well at all. And what I'm going to do is cut this in half, and the goal is these end up getting shrunk over. The challenge is we're dealing with heat, and these might shrink, pre-shrink, causing us some problems. So remember, white to white, black to black. Let the soldering iron heat up. Believe it or not, that solder joint is actually stronger than the original wire. I'm going to crimp these solder points down just so they fit a little better. Bring our shrink tubing over it. Okay, we have that shrunk down. Now, one thing I do like to do is I like to add one little piece of tape on one wire just in case the shrink tubing slips. Then I just have a little extra insulation. Next we go in with the electrical tape. One of the keys to doing a good electrical job is taking your time and cutting the tape, not pulling it and stretching it until it breaks. So there we go. Let's give it a try. I got to tell you guys, this one is really going to bring the trolls out. They're going to be freaking out over this. And I know it's kind of hard to do, to take your good machinery, your good tools, and cut the cord off like this. So I don't suggest doing it unless you really want to try it. Just do one machine, see how it works out, but I do promise you, once you get all your hand tools set up where they have short, reasonable cords, you're going to find out what a luxury it is to work with these machines with the cords not getting tangled up. If you guys like tricks like this and metalworking is your thing, this channel's for you. So please hit the subscribe button so you get notifications when the next video's out. Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram where I'm posting often about little projects that are going on in the shop. If you want to support the channel, you can buy a t-shirt or a mug. There's a link down below. All right, guys, till next time, go out in your shop, build something cool. Thanks.